Within a stone's throw of Lake Merced in San Francisco lie TPC Harding Park, the Olympic Club, San Francisco Club, Cal Club, and Lake Merced. They're all nationally ranked, but Lake Merced runs firmer and faster than the rest of them, and I was lucky enough to tee it up there earlier this week. If you'd like to see more of my California golf trip, be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments which courses you'd like to see. The first hole at Lake Merced is a 400-yard dogleg par 4, and even a skinny approach shot here is going to find its way to the back of the green, thanks to the firm fairway and greens. The greens are running at about 12 on the stimp meter, so my first putt of the day is a tester to be sure, and I was lucky enough to lag it up to a few feet and make a good par on the first hole. My typical driver trajectory is a low draw, and next door at Harding Park, this one would have gone all of about 220, but at Lake Merced it goes over 300 and leaves me just a wedge in. Putting uphill here I get a bit too aggressive, and this one rolls about 3 feet past the hole, where I'll have a downhill breaker now. But I'm fortunate enough to make it. From the elevated tee on the par 3 third, I catch a piece of green, but this is a long lag for birdie. But it's pretty good, and unlike Presidio, which kicked my butt on the greens all day long just a few days prior, so far so good at Lake Merced. The fourth hill has an uphill approach shot. It plays about 25 yards uphill, and my low stinger into the fairway manages to roll up almost all the way onto the green. And this will technically be another up and down for par. This is a beautiful dogleg downhill par 4, and I put mine in perfect position here, leaving a mid-iron in. I thought I saw this one the whole way, but it actually broke the other way. And it's another par on 5. This is my first miss with driver of the day. But that's probably the best shot I've ever hit from a fairway bunker. It leaves me in perfect shape with the approach shot here inside 100. And I land this one at the front of the green, and it trundles up to about 6 or 7 feet. And suddenly we're under par through 6. The driver's working for me so far today. And with 180 in, I hit my 5 hybrid, and choose the wrong time to pure it, because it pitches right next to the hole before rolling off the back. You can see how much release there is in these greens here. And for the first time today, I fail to make one inside 6 or 7 feet, and we'll go back to even through 7. This one was playing uphill and a bit into wind, and unfortunately it finds a bunker here. And there's my worst shot of the day so far. This one's much better, and I'll have about 10 feet for bogey now. And forgetting the pace of the downhillers here, I hit this one way too hard, and I'm lucky that it gets stopped by the hole. I draw this one into the left rough, and I'm trying to get way too creative, trying to hit a draw with the 4-wood here. And thank God for these firm fairways, because I'll still have about 100 in. This one pitches just short, and I'll have about 25 feet here. It's pretty good, and we'll close the 9 with another par. That may not have looked like much, but according to the World Handicap System, if I could card scores like this every day, I'd be a scratch golfer. Lake Merced has a pretty tough rating, so I'm more than happy with being 1 over through 9. But, unfortunately for me, golf is an 18-hole endeavor, and not a 9-hole one. So stay tuned for the back 9, and you'll see why I won't be changing the name of the channel anytime soon. San Francisco is known for its mercurial weather, and I'm known for some up and down golf, so strap in and enjoy. Here on 10 my approach finds some thick greenside rough, and I'm worried about blading this over the back, and I'm actually not disappointed to at least leave this with a makeable 4. And I drop it.
Great ball.
This is another good drive on 11, but on my approach I'm a bit stymied by a tree, and I'm actually very happy to carve this one over and around the tree and catch a piece of green. But I commit the cardinal sin on this 15 or 20 footer. I fall in love with the line and wind up leaving it a few feet short. And all of the karma I cashed in on short putts on the front runs out here on 11.
Keep coming.
My tee shot on 12 here finds a greenside bunker, and I'm forced to manufacture a pretty difficult stance. And I'm happy to have a makeable 3 here. But Spencer warned me this putt was slick, and I still did that.
Warned me too. I mean, I got no excuse.
And I have to walk out with a bogey here on 12. It starts to rain here on 13, and I could blame what's to come on the rain, but really it's all player. That's a chunked wedge inside 100. And now trying to get cute from about 50 yards, I hit this one too tentatively into the bunker. And for the second time today, I fail to get out of a bunker with my first attempt. And I announce to my playing partners here that there's a big score incoming. Believe it or not, this 15 or 20 footer is so slippery that I'm worried that a quad is actually in play. And if there's such a thing as a lucky triple bogey, maybe that's it. The driver's still mostly working for me to this point. And my second shot with the forward here is a bit squirrely, but nonetheless I'll have about 100 in here. But that's an inexcusable miss. Short-sided in a bunker. At least this time I get out of the bunker cleanly, and I'll have about 15 feet, maybe 20 feet here for par. It's not meant to be, and the bogey train on the back 9 continues. This is the signature hole at Lake Merced. It's a beautiful par 3, and there's a nice backdrop too, but it's obscured by the clouds today. And if there's a miss on this green, this is it. This was a pretty straightforward 45-foot putt, but it runs out of juice 6 or 7 feet short. And like I said, I cashed in all my karma on the short putts on the front. This is a first for me on 16, hitting a 300-yard drive at sea level in the rain. Again, those firm fairways had a lot to do with that. But speaking of firm, this firm green ejects my 30-yard pitch a good 60 feet left of the hole. And this might be my trickiest putt of the day. It's up a ridge here and down it for the last 15 feet. And it's a great putt, and I walk out with the par here on 16. There's a speed slot here at about 240, but this one's hit skinny and stops at the top of the hill. And I saw this as a 5-iron punch and thought I had pulled it off, but it kicks left into the bunker here.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
And you can hear that that one was all ball. I think I was in my head after failing to get out of the bunker a few times today. And just like a few holes ago, suddenly triple and quad look to very much be in play. I'll have 12 feet for double now. And unfortunately, it doesn't drop. And we'll go to 11 over heading into 18, which is not so good considering we were only 1 over through 10. That's a horrible shot there. And now I'm going to have a side hill lie at about 180 yards. And I'm happy to give myself just a wedge in now. But this horrible shot is icing on the cake of a terrible, terrible back 9. There is so much moisture in the air now that if you breathe too heavily, you might drown. And the day is going to end off with another disappointing double bogey. For equitable stroke control purposes, my 85 gets adjusted to 84. And look at that front and back 9. On the front, I played like a scratch, and on the back, I played like a 20.